Genesis chapter 5, verse 21 through 24. And it reads, And Enoch lived 65 years and begot Methuselah. And Enoch walked with Elohim after he begot Methuselah 300 years, and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with Elohim, and he was not, for Elohim took him. In the first book of Enoch, he writes about the heavenly luminaries, the sun, the moon, the system of rotation, the stars and their positions, the 12 winds, the 4 directions, 7 mountains, and 7 rivers, the names for the phases of the sun and the moon, and the conclusion on the seasons. The book of Enoch goes into great depth as it pertains to the celestial bodies, with the goal of calculating the length of a year correctly. The angel Yhwh'S showed Enoch a book about the motions of the luminaries, the moon as it carries out its prescribed course, its positions and light. He was shown the 12 gates that open the disk of the sun's chariot, and the law regarding light from the sun that illuminates the moon. The book of Enoch also tells us that a year is divided into 4 seasons exactly, with each season consisting of 2 30-day months followed by one 31-day month, with the 31st day ending the season, and making Yhwh'S calendar exactly 364 days. It is important to understand that the moon goes through a very repetitive cycle, roughly every 29.5 days. Based on this, there is no need to physically view the moon every day. In my previous video, I discussed how in the book of Enoch a solar year is 364 days, but a lunar year, 12 months times 29.5 days, only equals 354 days and falls behind a solar year by 10 days. At the beginning of each new month, the moon shows just a sliver of its light. In my last video, I brought out Bible verses that support the fact that this is how we determine our feast days. We also talked about how 15 days from the beginning of the new month is a full moon, and how there's nothing in the scriptures that tells us to count the Sabbath day according to the new month. In Genesis chapter 1, verses 14 through 19, the Most High tells us exactly why He created the luminaries and what He made them to do. At the beginning of creation, when the earth was just 4 days old, let's see if the Most High instructed us to use the moon to keep our Sabbaths. Genesis chapter 1, starting at verse 14. And Elohim said, Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And Elohim made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good, and the evening and the morning were the 4th day. Let's go ahead and take a look at what days mean in this context. The word day can mean 12 hours of sunlight, or it can also mean a 24-hour time period. You must be able to decipher what it means within context. In this verse, we can clearly see that the Most High is referring to the luminaries as being timekeepers. So we can confidently conclude that in this verse, the word days mean a 24-hour time period and not daylight. So to make up this 24-hour day time period, in verse 16, Yhwh said he made two great lights, one to rule the day, that's the sun, for 12 hours, and the moon in which rules the night, that also gives its light for a 12-hour time period, giving us that 24-hour day that Yhwh is referring to in verse 14. So one of the jobs that the sun and the moon are responsible for is to regulate our 24-hour time period, in which Yhwh refers to as a day. However, I still don't see where Yhwh is telling us to regulate our Shabbats according to the moon phases and the part of the day that the moon rules. If you take a look at the Enoch calendar again, with this very simple chart that I created on the right side, you'll see that 1 year is divided into 4 seasons exactly, with each season consisting of 2 30-day months and 1 31-day month. We have the beginning of spring, which is a 30-day month, mid-spring, which is a 30-day month, and late spring, which is the 31-day month. And this same cycle continues throughout each season: summer, autumn, and winter. At the bottom of the page, you can see that I multiplied 91 days times 4 seasons, giving us exactly 364 days, like the book of Enoch says. And because each week is 7 days exactly, I went ahead and divided 364 days by 7, giving us a total of 52 weeks in the Enoch solar calendar year. Let's take a look at Little Genesis, better known as the Book of Jubilees. Jubilees, chapter 2 and verse 1. And the angel of the presence spake to Moses according to the word of Yahweh, saying, Write the complete history of creation, how in 6 days Yhwh Elohim finished all his works and all that he created, and kept Sabbath on the 7th day, and hallowed it for all ages, and appointed it a sign for all his works. Let's go ahead and go down to verse 8, but we're going to start where it says, And on the 4th day he created the sun, and the moon, and the stars, and set them in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon all the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and divide the light from the darkness. So far, this is the same thing we read in the book of Genesis. However, we're getting a lot more details. We now know that Yhwh sent the angel of the presence to have Moses write down all creation. Let's keep reading, because I'm still trying to find where it says we use the moon to regulate the Sabbath. And remember, the Bible defines itself. The scriptures are not up for individual interpretation. Verse 9. And Elohim appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days and for Sabbaths. Wait, the sun is a sign for days and for Sabbaths? Let's read it again. And Elohim appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days and for Shabbats. Wow, sounds like the calendar may be solar and not lunar. And for months and for feasts and for years and for Shabbats of the years and for jubilees and for all seasons of the years. Remember all the basic math we just did according to the scriptures? There's nothing hard about following Yhwh's directions. You see, this is the whole reason that Israel is in captivity again. We can't follow Yhwh's commandments. The 4th commandment is remember the Shabbat to keep it holy, but we want to switch all the days around with the moon. We want to keep Sunday worship and do everything contrary to what the Bible actually tells us to do. And for all of you who do not believe in the book of Jubilees, it's actually right there in Leviticus in the King James Version, chapter 25, verses 8 through 55. I'll let you read that on your own because you must understand what a Jubilee is. It's a period of time. So I'll quickly go over a little bit of this with you, verses 8 through 12. That way you'll have a little bit of foundation on what Jubilees is about. So we're looking at Leviticus chapter 25, verses 8 through 55, but we're only going to read 8 through 12 right now. It says, "And thou shalt number 7 Shabbats of years unto thee, 7 times 7 years. And the space of the 7 Shabbats of years shall be unto thee 49 years. This is because 7 years times 7 years is 49. And then that extra year is the 50th year, which is the Jubilees." Verse 9, it says, "Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land." Verse 10, "And ye shall hallow the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you, and ye shall return every man unto his possession, and ye shall return every man unto his family." Verse 11, "A jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. Ye shall not sow, neither reap that which groweth of itself in it, nor gather the grapes in it of thy vine undressed." Verse 12, "For it is the Jubilee, it shall be holy unto you. Ye shall eat the increase thereof out of the field." So once every 50 years, slaves were set free, land was returned to its original owners. We were to let the land rest for 1 year, and things were renewed. It was a type of renewal. So I really encourage you to read about Jubilees. This is not what the study is about today, so I'm going to continue on in the book of Jubilees. I just wanted you to see, for those of you who do not believe in these books that have been taken out, that, these people, the heathens, they took these books out for a reason, and you should question why they took them out. And you should want to know what's in the books that they took out. Okay, so verse 9 here says, "And he said unto us, Behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and these shall keep the Sabbath day. And I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and will bless them as I have sanctified the Sabbath day, and do sanctify it unto myself. Even so will I bless them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim." So before the sun and the moon was ever created, before the earth came into existence, the Most High said that he would create a people who he would set apart as he set the Shabbats apart. So Yhwh said that he would bless Jacob, who we know is Israel and his descendants, and that he would set them apart for himself and teach them how to keep his Sabbaths and not do any work in this day. So let's read number 6 here, where it says, "Wherefore do thou command the children of Israel to observe this day, that they may keep it holy, and not do thereon any work, and not to defile it, as it is holier than all other days." And then the next verse says, "And whosoever profanes it shall surely die, and whoever does thereon any work shall surely die eternally." So this is not a physical death, this is an eternal death. And it says that the children of Israel may observe this day throughout their generations, and not be rooted out of the land. Then Yhwh says, "For it is a holy day and a blessed day. And everyone who observes it and keeps Shabbat thereon from all his work will be holy and blessed throughout all days like unto us." And I just want to kind of put it out there that we're not to keep the Sabbath on Friday or Saturday, because Yhwh never named the days. Each day was numeric. So when the sun goes down on the 6th day, it begins the 7th day of the Sabbath of rest. And we're to keep that day holy until the evening of the 7th day. And so the 6th day of the week at evening brings in the 7th day of the week, and we begin our Shabbat at night. And then the whole 24-hour period into the evening of the 7th day is our Sabbath. And at evening of the 7th day brings in the first day of the week, in which they name the pagan name Sunday. So I want to continue to read here where it says, And they shall not bring in nor take out from house to house on that day, for that day is more holy and blessed than any jubilee day of the jubilees. On this we kept Sabbath in the heavens before it was made known to any flesh to keep Sabbath thereon on the earth. And so as you can see here, the Most High is saying that, before we ever kept the Sabbath here on earth, they were keeping it in heaven. And so do you think there was a moon there for them to go by? The answer is no. And the same way that they kept it in heaven before Yahuwah ever created the earth is the same way we should be keeping it now, in this present time. I highly recommend that you read all of Jubilees too, because it will put a lot of things in perspective for you as it pertains to the Shabbat. And you'll realize that they took this book out so that we can continue to walk contrary to the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. Thank you for listening. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you and your family safe in these very dark times. Keep Yahuwah's laws, statutes, and commandments and his holy feast days to the best of your ability. And remember Matthew chapter 24 and verse 13. He that endures unto the end, the same shall be saved. And until my next video, Shalom.